I just wanted to say that, yeah, that I think like the whole state of the world right now is not in a great spot. Personally, what I could do are a couple of different things, right? I mean, there are people that are going to clown on you, right, for not going out to party, not going out to drink, and not really living the experience, right? But the reality of the situation is Gen Z is beyond cooked. We're beyond cooked, bro. I mean, the older generations don't want to believe us. They still will make fun of us, but it's really true, that it seems like getting a job is a lot harder than it used to be, and the purchasing power for wages is just not keeping up with inflation, right? That's what I'm listening to, that's what I'm hearing, and honestly, I'm really scared, right? Because now we have the internet, now we have social media. Gen Z is also very much aware of what is happening, right? We have like all these platforms like YouTube, social media, Instagram, all these platforms for free. People are just so aware of what is actually happening out there in the world, and it just shows that like working a regular job is just not going to get you anywhere. I mean, the pain of unemployment is probably the same as the pain of being employed, and I'll elaborate on that. Society likes to clown people that are unemployed, saying that, oh, you don't have a job, you're a bum, 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 you're a loser, you're a nobody, right? You have nobody thinks you're special, you're not a special snowflake, all these things, and it just constantly just sickens me, right? That people who don't have a job are just constantly looked down upon. I used to think this too, however. It was always ingrained in me that, oh, if you didn't have a job, you would be a loser working at McDonald's. That's what I thought. Now it's like even if you try to get it into McDonald's, you'll still get rejected. That is just how competitive and how high the standards of trying to succeed in the labor market in life has gotten. To the fact where it's like if you want to work at a fast food restaurant, you have to have years of experience, right? A college degree is not going to get you anywhere. It might, show some sort of like certification, right? But like I guess my point, what I'm trying to say is a college degree, listen, it is definitely important and it still matters when when you're trying to apply for a job, right? Like when you're going for a job, of course you do need a degree. But like if you just have a degree, that's nothing. You'll get stomped on. That's why society says, oh, do more. You need to work harder. You need to prove your value even more. You need to prove you're worthy of these jobs, right? That's why I say like we're in such a bad spot now because the system is slowly breaking, right? And we already know that the people at the top are extremely corrupt. They don't help any of us at the bottom, right? They are hoarding the money for themselves to create AIs that are going to replace people anyway, right? They're going to replace people anyway. So like what's the big fuss? What's the deal? Right? And I feel like the way I see it for my life, right? Because previous generations could have never predicted this. My parents could have never predicted this. Nobody could have ever predicted this, to be fair. I feel like nowadays, AI is going to get to the point when I'm like an adult and I get to make my own decisions. AI is going to get to the point where like it could do anything. You know what I mean? Like it could do literally anything. And it can complete tasks, it can get things done, it can do any complex task a human can. And so that's why I started having these thoughts that like, hey, why am I even going to college? Why am I even wasting my time here? What is the point of any of this, right? But then that was stupid, right? What I did next was stupid. I stopped working on college, right? I started, sacrificing. Like I started wasting the potential. And I realized, hey, that's probably not such a great idea, right? Yes, of course you're in such a bad situation, but you might as well just try, like you can't just give up, right? It's not suitable for people to just give up on everything. You should at least give it a shot. And if that means you got to work harder than ever before, then I guess that's what I have to do. That's what a lot of people have to do. And there are a lot of people doing that, like working 2 to 3 jobs just to barely get by. I mean, am I the only one who knows this? Am I the only one who's talking about this? But I guess no one my age is talking about it anymore. We're all just talking about college, right? But I feel bad for this like for my generation, bro. Like seriously, I feel really bad. But I mean, really the best advice I can give is just put your head down and just constantly just keep going. Just keep going. I'm just kind of thinking to myself like, hey, if I'm in a situation, right, where even if I do everything right, go to college, get good grades, go into a massive amount of debt, right, that I might have to pay off or my parents will pay off. But yeah, like I'll get to that situation, like we were all told that, right? Even if I do everything right and like, get a job and get a steady paycheck, right? Even with a great ass job, like a good ass job, making what, 190 to like $200,000 a year, and that's a really good job, dude. You're not gonna make you need to spend like what, 5 years, 10 years because of inflation, 10 years of your fucking life, you know, just being a millionaire to get $1 million. Even to get $1 million, that's nothing. It's peanuts, right? If you want to be like financially free, you have to work like 50 to 60 hours, right? To not only pay off your student loans, but also just to not only pay off your student loans, but also to like get enough money to live like comfortably. And I guarantee you that window of opportunity is closing because of how expensive everything is. You know what I mean? Like everything is so expensive nowadays, and it's going to get worse. I guarantee you it's going to get way worse because of capitalism, because of inflation. That's just how the market works. Your job is going to become less and less valuable. And that's what I really worry about, right? So I would say that, you know, fuck all the bullshit, right? Like we I feel like I have to work harder than ever. Like I have to work on school to at least have a safety net, right? Getting the degree, getting internships, getting experience, getting courses done, that's one thing. But also working on a business is something I've always wanted to do since like last year. I've always had this dream like, hey, I want to work on this business, you know what I mean? I really want to do this really fucking badly. Either I don't have enough time or I'm just preoccupied or I just don't want bad enough. I don't know.